am a recent college graduate, and I currently work with a group of significantly older individuals. Though I have more experience in the specific domain, they never take my advice. How do I get people 40 to 50 years my senior to listen and take me seriously?
That's a tough one, right? Oh my gosh. Being underestimated and having people be dismissive of something you know more about than them is,
That's never happened to you, Meg,
I
has
was
it?
gonna say, it's possible. I've experienced that one or two times myself. So, a couple things. Kind of the first thing that comes to mind is a little bit of understanding of what's going on. Oftentimes, when you are more experienced and you have skills that people that have been doing something for a while or feel themselves to be experienced do not have, they tended to dismiss it in general as unimportant because most of us are sort of self-focused, and so if I don't have that skill, it must not be an important skill because look at how far I've come or how much life I've experienced, and that's been fine. So kind of by definition, they're biased to assuming that their expertise has a higher weight than yours. And so there's kind of two things to think about in this situation from my point of view. Number one is you have to not be surprised this happens. I think the first part is really often it's frustrating, and if you let yourself get fixated on the frustration, it's going to make it harder for you to get done whatever else you need to get done. And you also probably need to let go the idea that you're going to turn them into people that value you the way that you deserve to be valued. And I think then you put yourself into the everything is figure outable mode and start to ask yourself, what are some paths to unlock the important parts, not the annoying parts, but the important parts that you do need them to take on board. And usually this requires a combination of inception, so maybe trying to figure out how to get the idea out there without putting so much directness to it. And then oftentimes maybe even building a proxy of somebody else bringing that idea forward. It's frustrating because it's your idea and you know it'll work and you're the one that has the value to share and add. But unfortunately, oftentimes, if it matters to get done, if you need it to happen, you probably need someone else to bring it forward. So either find one of the people that are doing pushback and seeing if you can pull them aside and incept the idea into them, or maybe even lean on somebody that already has the credibility and let them kind of help bring that idea forward on your behalf. Amy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's spot on. I think over time, people's curiosity generally starts to go down, and that's something that a lot of people try to prevent, but it's just the natural tendency because you feel like you know everything and you've done everything and you're not so curious about all the new things. So in terms of maybe finding that, person or two that can be maybe your channel, so I would look for the curious. Where do you see people that are curious about the topics that you are speaking of? And now maybe they're still not giving you credit for it or really, really fully listening, but they're, at least there's some curiosity there. Then I would focus on building a relationship directly with that person and getting their curiosity wet. So again, not necessarily like lecturing, not pushing, but just being curious about their curiosity and where you might be able to help them with that. This is a concept called reverse mentoring, where an older, maybe more experienced and general person actually is mentoring a younger person in terms of like the ways of life, and then that older person is getting mentorship from the younger person in terms of like technology or new techniques, etc. And it's a really nice like two-way, right? But the key there is that you can't just be pushing up. You also have to kind of accept the mentorship down as well for them probably to accept the reverse mentorship up. So it sounds a little complicated, and you might want to look up reverse mentoring. But I think that's a really great strategy to find that kind of person and that sort of relationship. And that can be really rewarding in and of itself. But what you can also do then is have that person then, really kind of tout to the others, how great that's been, what they've learned from you, what new techniques they're leveraging because of what they've learned from you. And that can be a way to kind of spread that more broadly across the organization.
I would just add one other thing that comes to mind. And again, you can tell this is super tough. You're not going to really win. You're just going to find ways to reduce the frustration and the loss and the stress of it all. But one technique that really matters and is helpful in trying to foster and develop curiosity is to ask them questions versus giving them advice and answers. So help them build that path, that train of thought path to your idea, as opposed to telling them the answer. That might open up a path for them to be more receptive, because then it truly is their idea. It's just you nudged them all the way there, which is usually how you have to do it in the early days.